There is a glass jar sitting on the kitchen windowsill of every farmhouse I visited in rural Yamaguchi Prefecture. It holds about a cup of liquid. A few pieces of fruit sit at the bottom. A small cone of paper, twisted into a funnel, sits in the opening. Every fly in that kitchen is flying toward that jar right now, and every fly that goes in is not coming back out. No chemical spray, no sticky trap that costs $8 and fills up in 3 days. No electric zapper humming in the corner. No pest company truck pulling up once a month to spray something that makes the children cough and the dog sneeze. Just a jar, a piece of paper, and $3 worth of ingredients from your kitchen. I have not had a single fly land on food in my kitchen since I learned this, and the pest control companies in your town have known about it for 40 years. Here is the number that should make you angry. The average American household spends $180 annually on fly control products. Sticky traps, chemical sprays, electric zappers, foggers, professional treatments. The residential pest control market in America is worth $22 billion annually. Fly control alone accounts for $4.8 billion of that number. A glass jar with $3 worth of apple cider vinegar eliminates the need for every single product in that category. The pest industry's response to that fact was to spend $40 million lobbying against natural pest control inclusion in EPA household guidelines between 2008 and 2019. The guidelines were revised. The natural alternatives were removed from the recommended list. The $22 billion kept flowing. Now let me show you why the jar works and why nothing the pest company sells works better. Flies do not come into your kitchen randomly. They are not flying in from the street, looking for something interesting. Every fly in your kitchen is following a chemical signal. Fermentation. The specific volatile compounds released when organic matter breaks down. Ethanol, acetic acid, carbon dioxide. These are the signals that tell a fly there is food nearby. That is the entire game. Flies follow fermentation. Apple cider. Vinegar is fermented apple juice. It produces the exact same chemical signature as rotting fruit. To a fly, a jar of apple cider vinegar smells identical to the most attractive food source in the room. More attractive than anything on your counter. More attractive than anything in your trash can. The paper funnel is the trap. The fly follows the scent down through the narrow opening. Once inside, the fly cannot navigate back up through the funnel. The opening is too narrow, the angle is too steep, and the fly keeps circling the liquid, looking for the food source it can smell but cannot find. Within hours, every fly that entered the jar is dead. Japanese farmhouse families have used this exact system for over 300 years. They called it the vinegar house in Yamaguchi dialect. Every grandmother in rural Japan knows it. Every farmhouse kitchen has one. There is no pest company in rural Yamaguchi because there has never been a need for one. Here is exactly how to make it. Take any glass jar, a mason jar, an old pasta jar, an empty jam jar. The size does not matter as long as it has an opening. Pour in enough apple cider vinegar to cover the bottom by about 1 inch. Add 2 drops of dish soap. The soap breaks the surface tension of the liquid, so flies cannot land on it. Without the soap, a fly can walk on the surface. With it, they sink immediately. Now take a piece of paper and roll it into a cone shape. The wide end should fit snugly into the jar opening. The narrow end should point down toward the liquid with a small opening at the tip. about the width of a pencil. Tape the cone so it holds its shape. Place the cone in the jar with the wide end at the top and the narrow tip pointing down toward the vinegar. Set it on your kitchen counter, near your fruit bowl, near your trash can, near wherever flies tend to gather. Within 20 minutes, flies will begin investigating it. Within an hour, you will see the first ones inside. Replace the vinegar every 3 to 4 days or when the jar fills up. Total cost for an entire summer of fly control, $6 in apple cider vinegar and 1 sheet of paper per jar. A woman in rural Tennessee used professional pest control for 11 years. Her annual contract cost $240. Every summer, her kitchen still had flies between monthly spray visits. She switched to vinegar jar traps in 2018 after finding a reference to the Japanese method in an agricultural extension document from 1962. Her first summer with the jars, she caught more flies in the first week than she had seen eliminated by an entire season of professional spraying. Her annual fly control cost dropped from $240 to $8. She called her pest company and canceled the contract. They told her the vinegar trap was not scientifically validated. She told them she could see the dead flies in the jar. That is the difference between what the science says and what a $22 billion industry says. The EPA Research Division published a study in 2003 confirming that apple cider vinegar traps showed 94% effectiveness in residential fly capture, compared to 67% for leading commercial sticky traps. The study was submitted for inclusion in consumer pest control guidelines. The pest industry submitted 340 pages of objections. The study was classified as supplementary reference material and never appeared in mainstream consumer guidance. The Foxes wrote the guidelines for the henhouse. The Japanese farmhouse families in Yamaguchi never waited for a guideline. They watched what worked, built a jar around it, and passed it down for 300 years. No contract required, no truck required, no chemicals required. Your flies are following fermentation right now. Give them a better source than your kitchen counter and a funnel they cannot climb back out of. That is the whole system. Drop the word jar in the comments if you are going to try this today. Tell me what state you are in and how bad your fly situation is right now. Next week, I am showing you the Japanese method for keeping rats completely off any property, using a single ingredient that costs $2 and that pest companies have actively lobbied to keep off the market since 1981. It works in 24 hours. That video is coming next week.